Welcome everyone to the After Church Tea Time discussion. My name is Christine and I will be your host today. I am joined today by Fabian and Liana. And today we will be discussing, oops, I need to mute the Facebook tab. And today we will Abir's wonderful sermon about the Guru principle. Who would like to share what the insights the sermon gave to them?
Beautiful sermon and beautiful topic as well. So we have a lot to share in and to talk about. So it's great to do that. And what really stood out to me first is the primary purpose of a guru, which is like, as Abir explained, guru means dispelling darkness, dispeller of darkness. And so your guru's purpose is to dispel darkness and to dispel your darkness. And where there is no darkness, there is light, right? So your guru brings light to you. And well, that is a very meaningful relationship. One of the most meaningful relationships you can have, right? Yeah, I feel the meaning of guru, and everyone can have a guru, everyone can call in the guru, and what we experience is a great call for a guru in our society. That, hey, we are looking for answers, we are looking for solutions. For a long time, there must be something else, some alternative, right? And then by God's grace, gurus are being sent to aid us. And voila, we are very blessed to have found different Shaleia, as they are God-sent gurus, illuminating our path home to eternal love. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I love it. It was a very meaningful sermon, and yeah, I really liked how Beer was explaining like the meaning of the word guru. Like as you mentioned, Fabian, like it's from darkness to light, because that's how it feels when you first start your awakening journey, or maybe if you haven't started yet, it feels like being in the darkness, because there's a lot of questions that we've all had since a long time, like what's the meaning of life, like how can I live in a way that is satisfying instead of just following a certain script like most people have, because most people follow the script but it doesn't really satisfy them. Ultimately they're still very miserable inside, so there must be something more to it. What is that? So having a guru is so valuable because it helps you see how you can live a life that is most satisfying, and that is being close to God and learning how to actually be close to God. Because a lot of times, like we don't know how to have a relationship with God, and that's part of what the guru shows us. Because sometimes we think that, oh, I'll just go to church, maybe pray a little bit, that's a relationship with God, but there's more to that. All these things are really good, but there needs to be an actual essence, actual relating to God. And yeah, that's one of the most valuable gifts that the guru can give you, how you can have a relationship with God that is meaningful.
Yeah, it feels like everyone basically needs a guru to ascend, and I love it also that he presented this as a principle, as a feeling, and it's also inside you. Yesterday, I actually listened to a song that sang about the guru, and it feels so loving. To find someone to help you.
I love what you guys shared, that the guru is returning us home to God, and it feels like the guru is like God incarnate, so it's like it's like a person. The better the relationship to the guru, the better the relationship to God, and you can improve your relationship with God by improving the relationship to your guru. It is like a mirror, right? And I want to convey something more here, and it is that the guru basically makes it easy to relate to God, because you could say, well, okay, God, so how do I talk to you? I cannot talk to you like I can talk to my peers, while this isn't true, because you can in your heart, right? But of course, it makes it easier. It jump starts this relationship if you can talk to a physical being, and this is like a bridge to your relationship to God. And there's this saying that Abir mentioned, that when the student is ready, the teacher, the guru appears. And there's more to it. It's like when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears again. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that, because I have some questions here. Basically, my question would be, if the relationship to guru is eternal, what does it mean that the teacher disappears? How do you guys understand this one?
What I feel here that is maybe the relationship changes, the teacher part disappears, and it changes more to completely loving relationship. Probably that's what comes up with me. That only that part disappears, but you still are connected to your guru.
Yeah, for me, I like to think of a guru like a spiritual parent. So it's like Leanna said, that the relationship does things, and like when you're a baby, your parents will take care of you by feeding you and changing your diaper and putting you to like bed by reading your story and all those things. But as you grow older, they stop feeding you because you can eat on your own, and they don't need to change your diaper anymore, right? Because you do those things yourself. And I feel like it's the same for a relationship to the guru. After a while, you know what to do and how to do it, so they don't need to instruct you anymore, because you've mastered certain things and you can do them effectively on your own. But there still can be very deep love and very deep gratitude, because they've shown you the way to do those things, and a lot of respect also.
That feels great. That makes sense. Like, oh, I learned this lesson. I don't need to be taught in this area any longer. We can move on with our relationship to even greater and more precious things.
Yeah, it's like being 30 years old or something, and then asking your parents to spoon feed you. It's like, it's not appropriate.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, now I get it. Anyway, thank you for that, guys.
I'd also like to comment on what you shared, Fabian, about speaking to God and how, yes, we can speak to God in our hearts, but at first, when you begin on this journey, this can be very hard to grasp because as humans, we aren't really taught to focus on our hearts and on channeling God and being with God. We're taught to focus on the physical stuff. So it's like, oh, God is not like I can pick up the phone and call him. So it doesn't feel as real. And sometimes we can have so many blocks to hearing God because we don't know how to listen and how to listen to our hearts because maybe we're numbed out to our feelings or there's a lot of unhealed stuff that can't that doesn't really help the communication come to us because we're not ready to listen. So that's where a guru is very useful because they teach you how you can clear those things, clear those channels so you can effectively communicate with God.
Yeah, what comes up with me also is that how we grow up with communicating with people and things around us. And yeah, so we really think about the communicating is meaning literally talking to a person. So that's why God manifests also in the guru like a person to talk to, because that's most and that's what we learned to talk with in the first place, at least in the Western world. Yeah.
And there's a moment when your like inner communication becomes as real as the outer communication. And this reminds me of the twin flame journey. You know, it's like you experience union within first, and if the inner becomes more real than the outer, then the inner union manifests on the outer, right? And so we practice with the guru. We are invited to go within and really blossom in our inner world and increase our connection and relationship. And then we manifest that beauty from the inside into our reality, right? Beautiful.
I love that you brought up the twin flame journey because this especially is an area where people were really suffering in before definitely ST things because it's so different to how we're taught to do relationships. Like historically speaking, somebody would marry for money or for strengthen the power of the family, or it's very recent that somebody would marry for love. It's very new to consciousness, but people were miserable in this, having to have this type of relationship. So it's really nice that we were created with a twin flame and that there is a way, there is a teaching, and it's a step-by-step process that we can take instead of fumbling in the dark and being like, okay, should I send them this thing or this message, or should I not talk to them? And there's like a lot of confusion for you find this path and you find this teaching.
Yeah, and your twin flame also being your teacher, your guru, it's also really different people now. And that gives me a lot of peace to have that as the first place, to see your twin flame like that, and then like the same way, just to relate to God and communicate to God in the first place, and then the rest. Yeah.
And your twin flame is like your greatest guru, right? As we now. So that's pretty significant. You are receiving support and clarity and illumination from many sources, and I feel like you have this primary God-sent guru that you can be in touch with, and then everyone has also their like the twin flame person, and because they are like your perfect mirror, they can act as your perfect guru. And well, we needed Jeff and Shaleia though to teach us that, because I wouldn't be aware of my twin flame guru without them. And having found my twin flame guru, I still require my relationship to Jeff and Shaleia and their teaching to walk all the way home.
Here I would like to share a comment that Lizzie made about the guru disappearing. And she says, when the guru disappears, it's healing a codependent relationship with your guru and helpful to come into your independent relationship with God, which is the truth. So I really like this, and that's why I brought it up, because eventually at some point, everybody needs to have their own independent relationship with God and not rely on the guru to have a relationship with God through the guru, which eventually we will all have. But at first, of course, we need to be taught that, but at some point we outgrow that. Because it's like viewing your guru as your source in some way, like your source of relationship to God, which is codependent and not very healthy.
And Jeff and Shaleia reminded us of the laws that God has for us through our relationship with them. And they also communicated clearly, it's time to leave the nest to fly on our own. And this reminds me of the meditation from Valentina today. And as you say, we would be codependent, and it would not be a sustainable relationship if they're gonna keep us spoon feeding while we are already 30 years old, So yeah, it's good to transition, and it's good to make progress. And I feel it's a very safe container, because wherever you are with your consciousness, there is the next piece for you the next step for you. And this is what the guru does. It's like, hey, here's the next step in front of you. Now go here. And as Abir shared, the guru has already walked the path. So the guru knows every angle, every corridor, every weird situation that you can find yourself in, every problem, every challenge, and everywhere the guru has found and realized God. And so the guru knows how to get from the darkness to the light everywhere. And then when you find yourself where the guru once was, the guru's consciousness is just pointing to the solution that is already well kept in the guru's consciousness. Right?
Yeah, I love that you don't have to directly talk to them. You can just tune in with your heart, and you already have the answers. It's really helping a lot to do that, because the consciousness is there and it stays there. You can always tune in.
Also, I really love with our gurus how, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think in history there's ever been such an extensive library of a guru's teachings like we have right now with Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class. Like, it's a lot of content that we can go through, and there's pretty much every topic under the sun discussed there. So that feels very supportive also as we go through our ascension journey, because at some point we will have a certain question or something pops up and it's like, okay, like, where can I find guidance? And there's so much in there.
Yeah, we are definitely loved in that area, or in that sense. This is like probably because of the time that we are in, the special time where there's so much information out there and everyone keeps out pumping new content, you know. But ultimately you can like completely ascend with Jeff Shalea's book, you know, Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover, with a mirror exercise. And on top of that, there's so much more support available, which makes the journey more compassionate, more easier. Yeah, it even says in the book that, you know, our consciousness, our mind is so vast that yeah, we will require more support. And this is where like Twin Flame Ascension School and the other products play their part to really aid us to illuminate all parts of our mind.
Yeah, this feels really good. And it's also beautiful how we have this beautiful community for even more support on our spiritual journey. Because in the past, it used to be like small communities locally, and you would live with your guru maybe, or very close by, and that's how you would receive the teaching. So the community was quite small. It wasn't as big as it is right now. And yeah, it's really cool how you can find people from all walks of life, like anywhere in the world, but we're all still connected by our love for God and our desire to ascend and come into perfect union with God.
And what we have right now with Jeff and Shaleia and their work, as we have shared, builds on top of the masters that have come before. And, you know, Einstein has a quote with like walking on the shoulders of giants or something.
Wasn't that Newton? I'm not
Uh,
sure.
Pretty sure it was Einstein, but
Okay.
anyway, I'm open to being wrong. Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's like the work. It's like, wow, here's the maybe the final teaching, you know, the complete teaching, and it combines every teaching. It's like unionism, you know. It connects God in all areas, and definitely connect all masters works in their work in a way as well.
Yes, and it connects also like more grounded way. Like all the masters were very spiritual, and Shaleia, yeah, are for everyone. So also like people who are just living their life and don't want to meditate the whole day or something like that. And I love that because that's why I came here, because it was very much more grounded and understandable than other masters. And, yeah.
I feel Guru also basically removes fear, you know, releases fear, or by our Guru's help we receive the ability to clear fear ourselves. And Granville talked about it when, well, Abir basically, but Granville as well, that when you are in a state of learning, you basically release fear, because you know that, hey, every day is school day, as Grandma said, you're learning every day, and so if you're making a mistake, or you know you weren't perfect or whatever, it's normal, it's natural. Just continuously improve, heal, and ultimately, you know, you are gonna figure it out. And there really is no fear when you approach it from that direction. Like, I'm just learning how it works, you know, who I am. And there's also like an unconditional love in the guru relationship, and, you know, patience, and that enables your true potential, because with that unconditional love and that patience and that compassion, you can feel that, hey, I'm safe here, and I can just take my steps as guided and learn. And once I know how to walk, I know how to walk, and then I can learn how to swim, right? But when I swim and I learn how to swim, I won't forget how to walk. I already have that skill. And so, area by area, I really receive all teachings of my guru.
I love that. I'll also share Abir's comment, which is really beautiful. This relation is very personal and loving as you receive the teachings that enlighten in places within that have been left in the dark for so long. That gives us liberation. By liberating our minds, it automatically humbles us onto gratitude. And yeah, I love that. And humility is also a big part of this relationship. Like, as a student, you need to be humble and be willing to change also, because Ascension is all about changing the ego thought with loving thoughts. All those old beliefs, they will have to go away, right? Because if you're not already in an enlightened state, that means that there's somewhere where you need to change to match that. So yeah, it's important to be humble and to be willing to learn more and grow. And yeah, it's okay also to make those mistakes and take your own time as you're learning, because I've noticed in the world there's a very like big fear of making a mistake, and what if you make a mistake and it's like the end of the world, when it's not really true. It's okay to have experiences because they help you to get clear. If that's not the path you want to go on, then it's okay to go up to a point, get clear, and then try something else. And there's also no time limit. Like, you don't have to be an ascended master in 2 years or something. That's ridiculous. It's okay to take your time and fully integrate those lessons, and maybe even repeat them however many times it's necessary until you truly learn and ground them.
Being teachable is also coming to mind here. And our dear Chrissy loves to say that, you know, empty your cup, be teachable, be open, and then you can receive the teaching better. I choose to be teachable, and then I am open to receiving, and I'm open to learning. And there's a reason why, you know, the twin flame journey requires us to be like willing to change. High willingness to change and to learn is a requirement, right? And this is because, hey, I want to have different results. I want to have a different life, experience of life. So there is a change that has to occur. If I wanted a deep change, deep change has to happen, right? And so I'm really being invited to introspect and to, you know, go to the very bottom of it, of my being and consciousness, and pull things apart and throw out the garbage that is lingering there, right? And then really testing everything that is in my mind. So ultimately, only the stuff that stands the test of time is gonna remain, right? And then I'm really rock solid. Then I'm like, yeah, I already have turned every stone in my consciousness multiple times, so there's no particle of dust to be seen anywhere, right? And the guru relationship serves as a perfect container of doing exactly that, of spring cleaning your being into perfect union.
I love that. And also, I've noticed when it comes to a guru, they don't have to say too many words. Like whatever your block is or your upset, they'll just be able to point it out in a sentence. And that's so powerful. And even in that sentence, there's so much wealth, even though there's like a few words in it. But they don't have to say too much because there's so much energy behind it.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well. I'm still something from years ago. I'm still processing it all because of and there's so much unconditional love in, and that keeps growing. So you can keep going with it. Yeah.
There's always also a solution contained in the guru's guidance. Let's say if the guru is pointing out an obstacle or a block, it already contains the solution in it as well. So the guru always leaves you with the next step. Even if you receive, let's say, discipline, there's also the healing included in it. And if you'd like to continue and go deeper in the relationship to your one guru, all you gotta do is receive and apply. And as soon as you apply, by law, the next piece of guidance will immediately appear in your reality. So that this is the real main quest in your life, you know. It's always like this, here's this next core piece, that next core lesson, and once handled, there will be the next one. And of course you can go over there and do this and do some side missions, but ultimately you always return to the main path, and there your guru awaits you, ready to take you further. It's like different sharing, you know. They are the guitar teacher that are like one lesson better than the student. I feel many lessons, but you know, basically when you are one lesson more advanced, you have the ability to teach someone who has not achieved that lesson yet. And so it builds, right? Because you learn something and now you have the ability to be someone else's guru in one way for maybe a very short amount of time in that instant, right? And then you can see the one guru helping everyone, healing everyone in divine order. And I feel different Shaleia are moving through everything first. They receive the healing, the insight, the next level of awareness, and they share it. And then the next few people are encountering the same obstacle, moving through it, learning from it, but they already have different Shaleia's piece, so it's probably much easier for them. And then it continues, right, until ultimately everyone has learned.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ascension is a science. Like any other science. You can't build a spaceship if nobody ever invented a computer, because you need like the foundation for that. And your guru really gives you that foundation so that you can continue and maybe even expand on it, and also like extend it to others, like you mentioned, Fabian. Because a lot of times I notice maybe I'll be listening to somebody else in the after third state time or in another live discussion in our community, and I'll receive so many insights from them sharing something. Maybe it's something from their journey or something from the teaching that they received. And it felt really good. It's like, oh, I never thought about it this way. And like my mind and my heart opens up even more. It's like, yeah, I never thought about it before.
Yeah, and all the pieces you receive, you while you learn, you go deeper in it, and that's how you learn to grow yourself instead of being dependent on your guru or others. You become it. Yeah, you grow your guru in yourself too. And I think that's our said at the end about our session. Like that she had it all in herself as well.
And everyone's perspective is unique as well, right? And everyone adds something to the one teaching, right? And this is what Abia shared as well, that your gift is unique, and only you can share your gift, right? And yeah, this is one of the most beautiful mechanics of life, that you can give something that is desired, and only you can give it. Cool. Well, it seems like we can check if Christine is here. But I do want to also mention that the guru is basically an aspect of God. I made some notes here. And it is ever present. Yeah. And as you can see there, maybe on the wall, I have some pictures of masters, and there are some pictures of different Shaleia as well. And yeah, you always have access to the guru, to guidance inside of you. You can talk to a statue or an image, Honestly, it really helps to process, to just ask questions and get things out of your system in that way. And then you attune yourself to the guru. And this is something that Paramahansa Yogananda shared, that it's all about attunement to the guru. I find great enjoyment when I, let's say, play the same video games that my gurus are enjoying, or listen to the same music that they are listening to. Not just that, of course, but this is a great way for me to attune to them. Maybe reading the same books, where I also feel that it suits me, right? Where I feel that connection there.
Something I like to do with gurus that have passed, like Jesus, for example, is when I want to connect to him, I would maybe meditate on a Bible verse or something like that. And with Paramahansa Yogananda's writings also, like meditate on something that was written in a book, and maybe ask for deeper clarity or a deeper meaning to that. And that's also something really nice to do. Feels very peaceful.
Yeah, I do something similar as that as well. Just any expression of the guru, you can just connect to that and then meditate on it, and then you receive more lessons or insights. You just feel into it and communicate that way. It's really helpful.
Kind of feels like we're all almost complete with the discussion. So would anybody like to share something in closing?
Just that you are very blessed by having a guru. Everyone can call in their guru. I don't think you can really do it without a guru. You need a guru. It's much easier with a guru. You save a lot of time and error, you know. So if you haven't yet, you know, consider calling in your guru to aid you on your healing journey, and just feel safe in this eternal relationship.
Absolutely. It can save you many lifetimes of suffering and like doing things that are not in alignment. So it's so valuable to have this guidance. And also for us who have discovered their gurus, it's important to have gratitude for that, because it's a huge gift from God. It's not something that is given lightly.
Yes, you don't have to go through the contrast. The pain is your teacher, right? You just love as your teacher. And that's so much more comfortable.
Beautiful. So I feel complete here. Good. So since we're all feeling complete here, thank you everybody for joining us in today's After Church Tea Time. And we hope to see you again in the next one, next Sunday. Have a nice day, everyone.